so that it'll stop that.
And we'll invite everyone to stay on with us. We've got a little surprise for you tonight. So just be with us, okay? We'll get this started for the next recording. We always separate these two in case you would like to use them in different segments or share them in different, separately. We have a YouTube channel for this, so you certainly can get that information from Missy or Carol at any time. Also, I love the stories, but thank you, Lori and Kathy and all of you, Courtney, everybody that was on tonight. You really, I love this Thursday night because I love hearing from so many different people and so many different ways that people enter and come into our business and then come across our products. So Carol, are we good?
We are good. Yep, and it looks like it's recording, so you're good to go.
Okay, good to go. Well, welcome everyone back. Welcome back. For those of you that might be joining us for the first time, my name is Sheryl Cortezi. I'm a national marketing director with the Juice Plus company now for 33 and a half years. So the adventure has been amazing and only gets better all the time. Looking forward to the next 33 years. But as I was just mentioning, the stories are always, they're the heart of it. They are what we're about. I often say that, our stories they're so, precious to us, to each one of us, but your story is not as much about you as it is about the people that you come across and that you share with on a daily basis. The other thing that always strikes me, and I've probably said it before and I'm going to say it again, is, as we walk through the world, we certainly have no way of knowing what most people are struggling with or dealing with. We pass people every day that look absolutely fine. You wouldn't think that they were struggling with anything. And there are a lot of things that people do struggle with that are certainly not going to take them out, so to speak, or be terminal. But they're just difficult. And it always makes my heart happy, especially when I hear children. I mean, I think about Lori's story and her son, and just the fact that she found something, what could make you feel better than your baby doing well? And then that baby now is a grown man. Okay, so, it's wonderful to be part of that emotional revenue that this brings, where we're really, just happy to be the people who get to share it with others. It's a great part of the return of being part of this community and this whole mission. Well, certainly the story is the foundation. And tonight we're going to take a little trip down under. As you know, we're a worldwide company, and we have a huge extension to our community in Australia, as we do in many other countries. I had the good fortune of, right before this pandemic started, a few months before, of being part of the conference there in Australia. And it was just such an amazing adventure and trip. I wanted to bring someone on tonight that she could share her story. And her name is Emma Marsh. Emma, I've not had really the pleasure of personally talking about her story, but I know that she's grown in our business, from what I understand, a qualifying national marketing director. So Emma, are you with us?
Yes, I am. I'm
here.
There
she is. So Emma, maybe you can start and tell people, not only how you came across it, but, what your feelings have been about the whole thing, and then maybe a few tips along the way. We'll talk about business as well. So tell us about you, Emma.
Okay, amazing. I'm so nervous. I was like listening to you guys speak before, and I'm like, why do they all sound like that? Like, not the accent part. I meant just like, why do they all sound so good like that? Like, my goodness, it does not sound like that here in Australia when we talk. I'm like, fruits, vegetables, broccoli. I think broccoli is really good for you. My kids now eat carrot. It's great. I really need to work on the stories. You guys are amazing. I'm going to come to this event like every single Thursday night, your time, Friday, lunchtime, my time.
We'd love it if you come and bring everyone.
Oh, seriously, I was texting people. I'm like, do you know what these people are doing? Do you know what these stories are? It was so good, setting the Zoom code. So I have been in the business. Oh, by the way, I speak really, really quickly and I have a lisp. So if you can't understand me, you have to come off mute and be like, I have no idea what you're saying. You're talking way too fast. I have been with the Juice Plus company this year in May will be 5 years now, which is so exciting. But I didn't really do much for the first kind of probably like 6-7 months in the business. I came into the company through my brother and sister-in-law, Fiona and Brian Marsh. They started their business and they got to 100 club in the first, I think it was 13 months. He tried to get to 100 club in 12 months and he couldn't. What a loser, I know. So, but he got there in 13 months instead. And I saw what they were doing and I was just like, you guys are freaks. You've started a cult. You've got some weird pyramid scheme thing going on. I don't know what's happening over there, but I'm not having any part of it. I won't be a part of it at all. And then Fiona was like, I fell pregnant with my, with our second child, and our kids were really, really close together in age. And Fiona's like, can you please just take this product that our cult is producing? So I was like, because I was like a dead person, I'm like, okay, sure, I'll take it. So I started taking it. And then she was like, just put through a franchise. You don't have to do anything at all with it. And I'm like, okay, good, fine, whatever. So I put through a franchise and I was telling everyone like Brian and Fiona are cult leaders now and all of these other things. And it was heaps of fun. And I got a couple of customers in the beginning, and then I was like, okay, great, I'm going to be a millionaire now. I've done exactly what Brian and Fiona have done. They put a couple of customers through. I did that, and then I wasn't a millionaire, and I was really confused about it. But anyway, moving forward a few months from then, I got paid $6 from Juice Plus. And I remember calling Brian and Fiona and I was like, I got paid $6. How does that work? And then I'm like, I'm about to go on maternity leave soon. Like I thought that this was going to be the thing that was going to help me while I was on maternity leave. And Fiona was like, oh, $6. She's like, well, what work did you do? And I was like, I didn't do any work. And she was like, well, it's not a lottery, Emma. You need to get out there and do some actual work. And then I was like, how rude, and hang up on the phone. And then I was like, okay, fine, I can do some work. How do I do this work thing? Anyway, so I put up a couple of social media posts and then I was like, how come it's not working? Like I'm still not making any money. I'm really confused. So a couple more months went past. And by this stage I was at this is my favorite time of my, what do I call it? My Juice Plus career, when I was at the blame, shame and justify stage. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever been there before, but you're at that point where you're just like blaming everyone and then you're shaming everyone. And then you're just like justifying why, like, you know, you can't do it, but other people can do it. And like, you're going through that real phase. I go there all the time. It's actually quite hilarious, but this was just that one time. Anyway, so what had happened is obviously I'm pregnant and I was about to go on maternity leave for the second time and under a 2-year period, and I was working full time. So I was headed back to work full time and I was going to have a 12-week-old baby. In Australia, they give you like 12 weeks worth of government pay, like we call it Centrelink in Australia, like government like pay. So I was going to be covered for the first 12 weeks, and then I was going to have to go back to work full time, and I was going to have a 1-year-old and a 12-week-old baby. But that was going to be okay because my mum was going to step in and she was going to help babysit because daycare is so expensive here. It's not even worth working. Anyway, so mum was going to step in and help babysit. But then 2 weeks before I gave birth, my mum got cancer and she got really sick. She's totally fine now. But at the time she was really, really sick. And she said, I can't babysit for you. And so I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? I literally have a 12-week-old baby. I have a 1-year-old. My husband works 60 hours a week in his traditional job. I'm like, I'm going to have to go back to work and somehow manage this. And it was horrible. So that's when Fiona and Brian reached back out to me and they're like, what about that Juice Plus business that you've got, Emma? Like, why don't you start giving that a go? And I was just like, no. And I was using every excuse in the world not to. Anyway, I had this I like to call it my defining moment. I had this moment when like I was driving my parents to the airport. My mum wanted to go on a cruise before she had to get surgery. So we dropped her off at the airport and I was like leave, and like my parents, like, you know, me being 30 years of age or 31 and pregnant with another child along that way, my parents like give me this lecture of like, what are you doing with your life? What are you doing with your life? And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Anyway, so I'm driving along in the car and I'm bawling my eyes out crying. And then I pull over and then I'm like, seriously, what am I doing with my life? And then it's just like, you know, and you know what you do, like when you're going through like a mental breakdown, you just go on social media just to numb the pain. So I was just like, I'll just jump onto Facebook and see what other people are doing with their life. So I just jump on there and I'm endlessly scrolling, just like, you know, oh, hello. And then all of a sudden, like Kira, who's one of our mentors, leaders in Australia, Kira was actually live into Team YOLO at the time, which was weird because I didn't even know what Team YOLO was back then. And so I was just like, oh, what is Kira banging on about today? So I clicked on it and I watched this live that she did. And she spoke about having belief in the product, having belief in the industry, and having belief in yourself. And she was like, you need to do like rate yourself, like out of 10, like what's your like belief in the product? And I was like, well, before taking the product, I was like a dead woman just walking around with no idea. And now like, I'm kind of like just a half dead woman walking around with a bit of an idea. So I'm like, I really believed in the product. The industry, I literally thought it was like a cult. So before I actually did sign on the dotted line, which there is no sign on a dotted line, so I don't know why I say that, but before I handed over my details, I did my research into the industry, and then I found out that it's actually like, you know, an actual banging business. So my belief in the industry was 10 out of 10. It was the belief that I had within myself. I didn't actually believe that I could possibly do this business. And so I was like, that's what the problem is. So that was the muscle, like Linda, my upline, Linda always says that you need to like exercise that muscle. So I was like, right, that's what I need to do. I need to start to work on the belief within myself and go there and find out what's wrong with me. Like, why can't I believe that others can do it and I personally can't do it? And why am I blaming, shaming, and justifying every little thing that happens? Anyway, moving on from that. So I came home and I told my husband, I'm like, Cameron, that's it. I'm going to do that Juice Plus thing. And he was like, you can do that Juice Plus thing, Emma, it pays you like $6 a month. And I'm like, I know. And it's going to be the thing that saves us. I'm so excited. I was really pumped. Anyway, and by the way, I still don't even know how you get paid $6 a month. I saw that we had game plan on the weekend. It's totally off topic. Sorry, Cheryl, I go there sometimes. And I saw the owner of Juice Plus Australia, like Celine. I was like, Celine, how do you get paid $6? And she was like, $6. She's like, I don't think you can get paid $6. And I'm like, I got paid $6 a month for like 4 months in a row. She's like, I don't know what that is. I'm like, no one even knows. Anyway, moving on from that. So I came home and I told my husband, that's it, I'm going to do it. And Cameron's like, you're a complete crazy woman. It pays you $6. And I was like, I'm going to be able to do it. I'm going to make $12 next month. And I'm just going to keep doubling my pay. So I went off to hospital and I had my baby girl. And I remember having like this really another defining moment. I know I just have them every day. Anyway, I'm at the hospital with my little girl, Grace, and I remember looking at her and I just remember thinking to myself, okay, who I show up as now will define who you show up as in the future. That's what I thought. I was like, the person that I show up as now will define who you will be in the future. And I was like, what do I want to be? So I actually took out a pen and paper and then I wrote a list because obviously I had a 1-year-old and I had a newborn baby. And I thought to myself, in 21 years time, they're going to be 21. And I'm like, on their 21st birthday, what are they going to say about me? Like, and I know it's all about me. I know it sounds selfish, but I was really having a selfish moment. I just pushed out a baby. I was allowed to have a selfish moment. Anyway, so I was like, what is the thing that I want them to say about me in the future? And then I'm like, I want them to say that they're proud of me. I want them to be proud of me for the work that I did. I want them to be proud of me for the lives that I changed. And that one I think really hit me the most with the lives that I changed. I was like, that's when I kind of realized it has absolutely nothing to do with me at all. It actually has got everything to do with everybody else. And when I had that, and I know everyone says it, everyone bangs on about that. But when you get it, it's like, wow, I really understand it now. So I came home from hospital with my newborn baby and my 1-year-old, and I cried every single day for 7 weeks straight, like every single, I was like, what the fuck? Anyway, came home and I was like, and I went to work. I'm like, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to go to work. I'm just going to do it. So I stopped putting me in the way, and then I just made it about other people. So I got to SP, which I think that it's the same as yours, SP, like to senior partner, a little while after that. And then I got to SC. I know this is fun with my list to go through all the S's. And then I got to QSSC, and then I got to SSC. And I remember when I got to SSC, this is what happened. So we're at like this live event. So I was like, obviously like, you know, bowling it by this point. And I got to this live event and we do them on where I live on the Gold Coast. And we do these live events on a Thursday night that Linda and James run. Anyway, we're at this live event and they're like, oh, Emma Marsh, you know, SSC. And I'm like, oh, and I go up and I get my award. And I'm like, they didn't give me a hairbrush. They gave me like a perfume, but you know, this is all I got here for today. Anyway, so they gave me my award and I'm like, yeah. Anyway, they recognized someone else the exact same time as me. So this other woman gets up and then she gets recognized for SSC. And I was like, that's amazing. Well done. Congratulations. Anyway, James even would always talk about, he'd always say that at another level, there'll be another devil. And I remember just thinking the whole time, like, poor James, like he's getting to another level in the business and he's racing another devil in the business. Like that guy really needs some help from his upline, Linda. Like, I don't know what's going on there, but he's like finding all these devils along the way. Anyway, I hit my devil, and I like to call this the SSC comparison game devil. So we're going to call this woman Betty. Me and Betty get SSC at the exact same time. 1.5 months later, so 6 weeks later, I'm at the exact same event, and they recognized Betty for going QNMD. And I was like sitting there and I was just like, what the actual, anyway, I clapped and I loved it. It was wonderful. But then I did the work, like you do when other people like this, I don't know what like it's like over there, but in Australia, like if people like are going really well, like in the company, you're like, into how are they doing that? And you stalk them on social media. Anyway, so I pull out my phone, I start stalking Betty on social media, and then there it is. She's a health coach, she's a health professional, she's a yoga teacher, a Pilates teacher, a personal trainer. She like is every single thing in the whole entire world that she possibly could be. And I was just like, oh, there it is. That's what's wrong. I'm not a health coach. I'm not a personal trainer. I don't work in the health industry, and I'm not a before and after photo. I'm like, I cannot possibly do this. I can't compete with Betty. But I had made a promise to my kids a couple of years before that, when I sat in the hospital, that I'd give them this amazing 21 years of life and I would be very present in their life. So I had to do well at Juice Plus to be able to do that. So I was just like, damn you kids. Okay, I'm going to become Betty. That's what I'm going to do. So I woke up the next day and I'm like, I can totally be Betty. So here I was like trying to like take all these photos of all of these amazing foods. And I was trying to like Photoshop, like coffee stains out of my shirt. I was trying to make myself look like some professional person. I was trying to research what broccoli does and like carrot does for eye health or something. And it was just so totally outside of who I actually am. So I called Brian and I said to Brian, I was like, Brian, I like my upline, Brian. I'm like, Brian, I just can't do it. And he's like, what can't you do? And I'm like, I just can't do it. I just can't become an Instagrammer or a TikToker or whatever it is that's cool at the moment. I'm like, I just can't do any of these things. I'm like, I'm not a health coach. I'm not a personal trainer. I can't sell Juice Plus because I'm such a loser. After about 15 minutes, Brian stopped laughing at me because he just found it so funny that someone would actually feel like that. And then Brian said to me, Emma, comparison is the thief of all joy. To be the person that you are not is a waste of the person that you are. And to me, that totally hit home. Here I was. And at this stage, literally, I had a 1-year-old and I had a 2-year-old. So I had like 15 minutes in the morning when Thomas the Tank Engine was on TV, and I had 15 minutes in the afternoon when the Wiggles was on TV, and I had about an hour and a half in the middle of the day where if both the kids slept, I didn't drink a bottle of wine that night. And if the older one was awake, I would give him like lollipop after lollipop after lollipop to keep him outside of his sister's room. So I literally had like these tiny little snippets of time to work on the business, and I was wasting it trying to become something that I wasn't. I was wasting it trying to show up as something that I wasn't. And what was happening is that my business started to drop because I was pretending to be all these things that I'm just not. Comparison is the thief of all joy, Suzanne. Anyway, so I called Brian and I'm like, I can't do it anymore. And then Brian's like, Emma, comparison is the thief of joy. You need to stop it. You need to swim in your own lane, blah, blah, blah. So I get off the phone to him and I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to become a wedding. So becoming a wedding means, if you guys picture the last wedding that you went to, you don't remember what the bridesmaids' dresses looked like or what the hair was like or the makeup or the table settings. You don't remember any of that. The only thing that you remember is a feeling that it gave you. So I just thought, if I can just go out there and wedding the shit out of every single person that I meet, then I'd be completely fine. And trust me when I say it, that you can build more relationships in a 2-month period caring about other people than you can in a 2-year period trying to get other people to care about you. So after I decided that I was going to become a wedding, that I was going to swim in my own lane, and I just authentically turned up just as me and like no one else, and I didn't pretend to be any of those things, that's when I realized like this business has got nothing to do with everything that I'm not and everything to do with everything that I can become. So that's some of my journey, Cheryl. I hope that was okay. And I didn't speak at 1,000 minutes.
I think that was amazing. And I really wanted everybody to hear you. I'll share with everyone that she will be one of our speakers on our Take Action Tuesday, which will be March the 30th. And congratulations, Emma, on your QNMD position. I know that you're going to go right on to National Marketing Director and beyond, I have no doubt whatsoever. And that Australia, all the Australians and anybody you come across is lucky. But, you know, I think what was so important for us to hear, and of course I love, you know, comparison is the thief of joy. That's a beautiful statement because it's so true. But also for all of us, you know, everybody that does this, no matter how successful you become, there are doubts. You know, there's those monsters in the back of your head, I guess you say, that are really nagging at you as you grow up through this. And that, you know, as you do, and it happens to everybody. And yet it's just that consistency of continuing to push through to get what you know is there for you. And I admire you, Emma, and all of you on the line that have shared your stories tonight. It's all about the story. And I'm inspired, you know, and I'm gonna, yeah, it's always reaching for the next thing, the next thing, and the next thing that's gonna bring you around. So she, and also Kira, that she was speaking about, Westwick, will be on our Take Action Tuesday with us on March 30th. So we wanna really build for that. It was a pleasure to have you with us. They're from Australia. She's actually into tomorrow, right? I think it's Thursday for us, but it's Friday for you. So we were very blessed to have her with us today. And thank you again, Emma. Thank you so much. And we'll say goodnight to everyone, and just come be with us next week and the week after. And Emma, if you would like to bring all your team, this is what we do. It's story time every Thursday night. And we, you know, have people that come to us from, you know, all various aspects of the organization. And it would be great to be international now as we do this. So thank you. And to all those who spoke tonight, you know, really appreciate you. We are in, I think, the best season of our business in all the years I've been in this. You know, we've never had a time where we were more relevant, where people, you know, are just totally awake, as we've said before, to that need for nutritional support and to protect their bodies. And, you know, there are just so many people that need that supplemental income. So let's all have the courage. Let's try to move those devils out of the way that keep popping up. Okay. And thank you for your enthusiasm tonight, Emma, and to all the people who spoke. So we'll say goodnight, and we appreciate you much, all of you. Let's go get them. If we don't, somebody else will. Might as well be us, right? Okay. Good night, everyone.
Thanks, guys. Good night, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Good night.
All right.
Thanks, Cheryl.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Cheryl.
everybody.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much,
Cheryl. Thank you,
That was
everybody.
All
fun.
right. Good night, everybody. See you next week.
Night.